It started in early November of 1997, with a boy no older than 8 sitting across from me in my office, telling me about his friend, Mr. Smile, he called him. I had worked with children long enough to recognize an imaginary friend when I heard one. The boy was struggling with anger issues and depression, so I assumed Mr. Smile was his way of coping. I didn't think much of it at first. What does Mr. Smile do? I asked him. He makes me happy, the boy said. When he's there, all the bad feelings go away. He smells like candy floss. A harmless invention, I told myself. But then, another patient, a 9-year-old girl, mentioned Mr. Smile, and then a 7-year-old boy, a 12-year-old, an 11-year-old. Over the course of weeks, nearly 15 of my patients brought up the same friend, Mr. Smile. At first, I wrote it off as coincidence. Children shared ideas, picked things up from TV or books, but the details were too precise, too identical. He stands at the foot of my bed at night. He never talks, but I know what he's saying in my head. He makes me feel safe, and always, he smells like candy floss. I spoke to their parents gently at first. I told them that a concerning pattern had emerged, and asked if I could involve the authorities. They agreed, albeit with confusion and growing fear. When the police arrived, they asked the children how Mr. Smile looked. Not one of them could describe him, apart from his grin. When asked how he got into their rooms, they simply said, "I wake up, and he's there." Sometimes, they added, he would sing in a language they didn't know. I had them draw him. Each one picked up a red crayon and filled the entire page with a solid rectangle of color. When I asked them to clarify, they insisted they had drawn him exactly. When I showed them someone else's red rectangle, each child identified it without hesitation. That's Mr. Smile. The police helped install cameras in the children's rooms. Parents stayed up all night watching screens, waiting. Nothing happened. No sounds. No figures. No sign of Mr. Smile. The case was nearly dismissed as some strange, mass delusion, and then, one of the boys vanished. At 2 a.m, his camera went black. His mother rushed in less than a minute later. He was gone. There were no signs of forced entry. The windows were locked. The only thing left was the sickly sweet scent of cotton candy in the air. Search teams found nothing. No clues, no sightings. Less than a week later, a girl went missing. Then another boy. Then another girl. One by one, my patients disappeared, leaving no trace. The remaining children said Mr. Smile and his friends were taking them to the happy place. They said he spoke to them constantly in their minds. Some no longer found the visions comforting. The colors are horrible. One child screamed during a session. Make them stop. 2 boys stopped speaking English altogether. The language they used was unidentifiable. One girl carved circular patterns into her skin. Another handed me a notebook, and after much coaxing, agreed to write down what Mr. Smile was telling him. I was the only one who read it. To this day, I wish I hadn't. By 1999, all of them had disappeared. Not a single suspect. No leads, no bodies. They were simply gone. And sometimes, even now, when I wake in the dead of night, I swear I smell candy floss.